Hey guys, Xaryu here, and today I want to go over with you guys the August 29th hotfixes, some good things, some bad things, what I think overall, and kind of what I think about mages in the current meta. So let's jump into it right away. Let's just go through all the August 29th hotfixes for PvP. We don't care about raiding because we're not raiders, boys. We're PvPers. But anyway, here is the PvP changes. Demon Hunter, Havoc, PvP template stamina reduced by 5%. I think that's good. I think Demon Hunters are one of those classes if played well. You always either have the auto blur, you always have your trinket, or you always have some type of mobile way to escape the situation. So a good Demon Hunter would almost never die. 5% stamina reduce. I think that's a good change. We're looking here at Vengeance Demon Hunters. This is a fantastic change. I guess let me read it out loud for you guys. Demonic Trample, normally it's called Trample, now provides a 50% movement speed while carrying a flag in battlegrounds instead of 100%. Trample is one of the abilities that made Demon Hunter, or Vengeance Demon Hunters, which is the tank Demon Hunter, just run across the map super fast. It was ridiculous. I made a couple videos on this a month or so ago. I don't know if you guys remember, but basically saying this should be nerfed because it's insane how much mobility they have. So they still have a lot of mobility, but this is a step, right? They're a little bit slower than they were previously. So thumbs up on that. Good job to Blizzard. Scrolling down here a little bit. Death Knight, Frost DK's PvP template stamina reduced by 7%. Death Knights are another one of those classes that, unlike Demon Hunters, it's not like they're like mobile and they move away and they're kind of evasive and they never die, or like kind of like a rogue, but they just never die. They're just so tanky that they can just sit in the open, not even be an orc. If you're an orc Death Knight, it's really hard to kill. But even if you're like a blood elf or a goblin, it's just really hard to kill a Death Knight through all of their defensives. Trinket, IBF, AMS, AMC, just the pure tankiness of the class. So this is a definite thumbs up on the stamina reduction. And Unholy Death Knights got the same treatment as well. PvP template stamina reduced by 7%. Think that's good for both of these. Now, what you guys want to see the most. Frost Mage changes. Chill to the Core increases frost damage by 10% in PvP situation instead of 20%. This is a nerf, guys. This is a Frost Mage nerf. I'm a little upset about this one. Okay. I'm happy about this because I think it's a good nerf. But I'm also upset at the same time, and I'll kind of walk you guys through that. The reason I'm happy first is because the OP part of Mage, the thing that made Mages OP was when you popped Icy Veins and you got the Shield of the Core buff. I'll put it up on the screen so you guys know what Shield of the Core is if you're not familiar. When you pop Icy Veins, your one-shot was too powerful. Okay, so this is in itself a good change, I think, right? Frost Mages with Icy Veins up, if you just Icy Veins, Orb, Comet Storm, Ice Nova, Ice Lance, just like I tell you guys, just like I teach you guys, you're going to be able to one-shot someone in just a couple of seconds, right? So this is a good change. It really is. The reason it makes me sad is because I've been suggesting this change, actually. I've been suggesting a change very similar to this for quite some time. Nerf Icy Veins is my change suggestion. But Frost Mages aren't very good right now, and when I say they're not very good, I don't mean they're awful. Okay, let me define what I think good is. Good is like a tier 1 class in my opinion, right? The good classes: Warrior, Demon Hunter, Sub Rogue, Death Knight. Right now, Feral Druids just got a lot of buffs, so Ferals are doing very well. A lot of these melee classes, guys, are very good, and this is evident to me in two different situations. Okay, in EU regionals, and a lot of the cups that we've had, no mages have been winning. No RMPs have been winning. As much as people say RMP's OP, RMP's OP, when it comes to tournament play, the cleaves are winning. Okay, so that's my first piece of evidence. Evidence number 2 is when you look at the end of the season ladder, at least on North America, where everyone plays Horde Mages, one RMP got rank 1. And like 20, 30 cleaves got rank 1, right? And I know a lot of mages, Frost Mages, including myself, pushing for rank 1, going for rank 1, couldn't really get rank 1 because mages just aren't really viable in the current meta against Demon Hunters, against DKs, against Warriors, against all of these classes that just eat mages alive. So, mages aren't very good right now, and they got a nerf. So I was a little frustrated when I first saw the nerf, because I was like, mages kind of need a buff, because they're not doing very well. So I'm expecting a buff and we get a nerf instead. But like I said earlier, it's a good nerf. Okay, this is the nerf that should be put into place. So what next? Now, with the coming patch changes and the upcoming hotfixes, I would be expecting, I hope, a Frost Mage buff in some other areas. And I'm not talking about slow buff. I think the slow is fine as it is. If anything, nerf the slow again. I'm not talking about, you know, increasing this back to what it was. I think this is fine. I'm talking about some type of consistency. Give Frost Mages some type of ability to make them more consistent, make them able to burst more often. Okay, some control options as well might be okay. So Deep Freeze, Frostjaw might be two good options. More options might be having mages' Icy Veins be reduced by Frostbolt by a lot more. So you can get Icy Veins more often. So one of my favorite suggestions that I've heard and that I've really pushed myself is that Icy Veins is a 3-minute cooldown, and it's very, 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 very powerful. When you have Icy Veins up, you're one-shotting everything. When you have Icy Veins down, nothing is happening. It's like Resident Sleeper, like nothing's happening, right? So you want some type of middle ground. My suggestion was either cut down the cooldown of Icy Veins in half in PvP and make it weaker. So this is the make it weaker part. So now we want to also make it give less haste and then reduce the cooldown as well. So it's like a 90-second cooldown, minute and a half cooldown instead of 3 minutes. But instead of just one-shotting people every time you use it, you're doing increased DPS, but you're not one-shotting people. So give it type of like a middle ground type of play, or keep it 3 minutes, but make it so when your Frostbolts crit, reduce the cooldown by like 10 seconds, right? So it's really, there's already a trade that does this, but make it really obvious. So if you just spam, 5, 6, 7, 8 Frostbolts, 10 Frostbolts, 15 Frostbolts in a row in Arena, which is very difficult to do, then you could get another Icy Veins up relatively soon, and then do another go, get that cooldown from like 3 minutes to, what, about 1.5 minutes, and then still nerf it a little bit, right? So I think mages need some type of consistency. On top of that, maybe increase the damage of Frostbolt in Arena, okay? Frostbolt right now, guys, is 1% of someone's life, give or take. Maybe 1 or 2% of someone's life if it crits. If it doesn't crit and they have a shield or something, it is 0% of someone's life. So, Frostbolt right now, if you cast a Frostbolt, it's barely going to dent the enemy. If you cast 100 Frostbolts in a row, the guy's probably going to die. But, it's a lot of casting to kill someone, right? So that's why when I made a video like, never cast Frostbolt, don't cast Frostbolt, cast this instead, talking about Ebon Bolt, Comet Storm, Ice Nova, all that kind of stuff. Maybe buff Frostbolt by just a little bit, right? Make it rewarding to cast 5 or 10 Frostbolts in a row. Make it reduce the cooldown of Icy Veins. Make it not even, don't buff the slow. The slow's fine. I think the slow when it was 65-70% was a little OP, so I'm glad they nerfed that as well. I think they're good nerfs, but now we need some, not even buffs, just changes, right? So I'm not saying buff Frost Mage. I'm not saying Frost Mage is stupidly weak, it needs crazy buffs. I'm saying Frost Mage is in an awkward spot right now, and I think it just needs changes, tweaks. Not crazy buffs, but it needs a little bit more consistency. Maybe in a little bit more control, Deep Freeze or Frostjaw, maybe a little bit more consistency with reducing the cooldown of Icy Veins, or increasing the damage of Frostbolt just a little bit so you can do something in the meantime besides just standing there doing nothing until your next Icy Veins is back up. So those are the Frost Mage changes. That was a lot of breath over one little change, but hopefully you guys kind of understand what's going on in my head, because I know a lot on the stream I say mages are awful, but I'll say mages are good. But that's kind of, when I say mages are awful, I don't mean mages are awful. I mean mages are in an awkward spot, and they're not very fun to play because they're in an awkward spot where they have no control, and they only burst once every 3 minutes, and you're kind of just sitting there doing nothing a lot of the game. But when you're bursting, then you're OP. So it's like I'm either using all my cooldowns and being OP, or not using any of my cooldowns and doing nothing. And it's like, need some middle ground, just a little bit. But anyway, so that's that. We beat that horse to death. But anyway, Warrior, Arms, PvP's template, stamina reduced by 5%. Same reasoning, guys, as the Death Knights, the Demon Hunters. A lot of these melees were too tanky. A lot of these melees were dominating the ladder, and they're nerfing a lot of the stamina in hopes that I think that they can actually be killed now, right? A lot of the problem was you just couldn't kill any of these melee cleaves. So maybe it'll be penetrable now. Maybe you'll be able to kill Warriors, Death Knights. Maybe they'll have to play a little bit more defensive, and doing so, when they're playing a little bit more defensive, they're not just overly extending, overly, going too crazy. This stamina template change, I haven't played too much around with it, but might kind of help balance things in the long run. So those are the PvP changes, guys. Those are my thoughts about 7.3, how Mage is right now. Good, bad, what should be changed, what shouldn't be changed. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Like I said, guys, I have a ton of footage from the end of season that I plan on uploading on Rogue, Mage, and Priest, and you guys have been asking for a Rogue guide. It's in the works. I'm planning on uploading that sometime within the next week or so. And but basically what I told you guys is if I get Gladiator on my Rogue, I'm going to upload a Rogue guide. And I ended up getting Gladiator, so I'm going to upload that Rogue guide for you guys. All the basics as far as macros, rotation, keybinds, all that kind of stuff. But then strategy as well. So hope you guys are looking forward for that. Thumbs video up if you liked it. Thumbs it down if you didn't like it. And talk to me in the comments about what you guys want to see for next time. Don't forget to subscribe. See you guys next time. Peace!